Well, yep, there. So yeah, let me just see. Oh, right. My microphone is not plugged in. Right. Hold on. Let me just fix this and wait. Okay. Come on, hold on. Cancel that. Wait. If I just properties, now I should be able to detect. There we go. Yeah, that is much better. So yeah, there. Hello, snakes. My name is Dante, and today it's Podcast Tuesday once again, and we're just gonna. So I'll have a video disclosure before I start this podcast because I know most of you guys do not like AI, and hell, I did not really like AI when like AI generated content and stuff when it started. But hey, there was literally like but honestly, there was just no better way to do it. And but because my group chat was doing the same. I mean, my group chat was literally using AI to just imagine themselves new versions of cards. So what I did, I decided to imagine 10 brand new cards for this set using older cards as reference. So time shifting and changing some abilities, which is basically what this set will be going for, especially with Chandra, Chill of Compliance, and Stingcaster Mage, which will be coming out. Those are actual real cards confirmed. But we're just gonna actually break down 10 cards that I think will happen, that I want to happen, and just you know, just break it down. So let's start off with our number 10. And it is none other than Garuk Unchained. A red time shift version of Garuk Unleashed. Main difference is that the +1 gives first strike instead of trample. The beast token, well, I mean, it would create a beast, maybe a red one instead of a green one, but it is like a logical ability for Garuk Unchained. And the -7, instead of bringing in a creature, would bring you in a red permanent. You know, focusing, so it's still keeping this Unchained, Unleashed. But it is quite possible that Garuk may be appearing in a different color, maybe blue, maybe I don't know. But I mean, Garuk already has access to black, in some sense. But uh, but there is no like but but I do believe we will be getting a red Garruk. That is actually like quite possible. Maybe they're like, it is quite possible that since the whole clone multiverse saga for Magic is that we may get multiple variations of a specific planeswalker, not just one variation in addition to the original. Because of course we know we have a blue Chandra and a green, no, a red Chandra, but we might have a green Chandra as well. We could also have, a black Chandra. I don't know. But, well, that's basically, you know, my number 10. I think we will be getting, a red Garruk. Possibly Garruk Unchained instead of Garruk Unleashed. But, yeah. That's basically the number 10. Now let's go into another one, which I've really like. Past in Floods. A variation of Past in Flames. So Past in Floods would basically give your instant sorceries escape instead of flashback. The issue, so basically, they won't get Eds out when they're cast from the graveyard, but the escape costs twice the mana cost. So instead of so as to not abuse desperate ritual for infinite mana, it would cost, instead of 2 mana, it would cost 4 mana, and not only that, it would be unaffected by cost reduction effects. So the first time we'd see a card that would negate a cost reduction, apart from what was it called? I mean, Trisphere lo- raises any cost below free to free. But well, I mean, but yeah, just about. But yeah, I mean, and of course, instead of having flashback, we have escape for 6 mana. So yeah, so and you know the original art actually features a vampire. I mean, I made a very, I mean, decided to make it a merfolk instead. So yeah. Honestly, Past and Floods would be like a way to incorporate escape. Like a more balanced version of uh of Underworld Breach. So yeah. Hey, Cosmic Uri, congratulations on staying tuned to 5 of my streams in a row. Hit a 5 stream streak. Well done. All right. Uh, yeah. I really like this one. I've thought about it a lot. So yeah, that's basically Past in Floods, the blue version of Past in Flames. But well, I mean, there's still. I mean, it's of course you can see that it's not just creatures and planeswalkers we're covering here. We're also covering spells and stuff. So yeah, Past in Floods seems like a balanced way to incorporate, a blue Past in Flames that doesn't use flashback and instead uses, like escape. Because it can't be strictly worse. Because Jumpstart would be a strictly worse flashback. Harmonize would be a strictly better flashback. And well, I mean, yeah, escape would be like technically a strictly better flashback. I mean, but the thing is that like, I mean, Underworld Breach did a way to nerf it down. Like you had to exile 3 extra cards, but this time it's like double the cost because Harmonize you could still tap creatures for it. And unaffected by cost reduction. That is basically another clause. Now let's go into the next one. So next one we got a Rakdos Teferi. So this will be taking the template of a nerfed Teferi Time Raveler to become Teferi Space Unraveler. So 4 mana, 5 OT, Legendary Planeswalker Teferi. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. And for +1, you may cast red and black spells as though they have flash instead of sorcery spells. And for the -3, you have to destroy an enchantment, planeswalker, or battle card. So destroying a land would be too overpowered. But bounce, I mean, instead of bouncing and drawing a card, and it will just flip the types around. So usually you could bounce an artifact, enchantment, or creature, but this one would bounce an enchantment. No, it would destroy an enchantment, planeswalker, or battle. So that's basically, and of course, since it's a more balanced Teferi, it would not force the opponent to play at sorcery speed, just that it forces the opponent to not cast spells on your turn at least, so they can still cascade and do other stuff. That's basically, the Teferi Space Unraveler. A reverse of Teferi Time Raveler. And honestly, it seems quite interesting. This is another card that was, I mean, Rakdos Teferi is likely going to appear in the set. I don't know if it's gonna base around this card in specific, but well, who knows? Yeah. Also, we don't. Battles actually come back. I mean, we were supposed to get battles in freaking Lord of the Rings, and also battles in what's that? Oh yeah, Averdrift in the form of races, because battles are all the battles had Sieg as a subtype. Maybe like battle race, but I don't know. And then there's and of course this is like a freaking multiversal battle or something. Maybe just battle with no subtype. I don't know. Or a different subtype. I don't know. But yeah, battles should come back. Maybe they'll come back for Hobbit, which would be strange considering it's gonna be focused around the Hobbit, not Lord of the Rings. Star Trek? I don't know. I've not seen much of Star Trek. I've not seen anything of Star Trek. So yeah, I cannot really give my opinion on that. I might have to get into Star Trek just because, well, we're going to Star Trek after Reality Fracture, so yeah. But let's just go into our number 7. And we got Vraska the Unheard. taking template from Vraska the Unseen. 5 mana, 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Vraska. People were saying that she was going to be Azorius, you know? And for +1, you get. So +1 is the same as, Vraska the Unseen. But the -3 exiles instead of destroying. An upgrade from the original card. But the -7 is completely different. Instead of creating 3 assassins that can instantly kill the player, she gives you an emblem that makes it so that you cannot lose the game if you have more cards in hand than an opponent, and then that opponent cannot win the game. But at the beginning of your end step, each opponent draws a card, essentially granting them, uh, you know, to close in, it's a double-sided emblem. But, so it gives you a way to, not really a win condition, but, stops you from losing if you have more cards in hand than at least one other player. But it stops them from winning as well. So if you have the most cards in the hand, then no opponent can win. So, yeah. And but yeah, basically, that's basically the card. I think it might use this Vraska, but it could be a different Vraska. Oh right, Vraska the Desparked, maybe the newer variant. I don't know if Jace makes Jace becomes like a multiversal god. So it could be possible that he does create planeswalker variation, ones that are no longer planeswalker but do become planeswalkers. Because the thing is that because there are some implications regarding mono white Liliana, where basically since a mono white Liliana would not live through the trauma of her brother getting poisoned, then she would never become a black planeswalker. Her spark would never ignite, and she'd never become a necromancer. But of course, the lore implications will probably fits this, and maybe Jace will have some reason to make her into a planeswalker. I don't know. But basically, that's my take on an Azorius Vraska. But let's see what else we got for our number 9, 8, 6. We got Brain Fart. Yeah. Okay. So, of course, y'all know Brainstorm. Now, I decided to make a reverse of this, where the opponent discards 3 cards, but then they have to bring 2 cards back from the graveyard to their hand. So yeah, it does. They do lose card advantage, but if you're doing this later in the game where they have cards in the graveyard, then they can bring back cards they need. Only issue of this is it would be very powerful in the early game, allowing you to make the opponent discard 3 cards and not being able to bring back any cards. Because I specifically made it so that the opponent cannot get the same cards they discarded, because otherwise it would be too powerful. No, it would be not too powerful. It wouldn't the opponent would be gaining too much benefit from it. So, because otherwise it's technically just 1 mana, target opponent discards a card, or if they discard something else, they can bring something else back. But no, we're gonna force them to get the card that they do not discard. Because Brainstorm does let you send cards, from their hand back on the top. You can even send the cards you already drew. But the issue is that Brainstorm is too powerful, especially because of that reason, which leads it to get blacklisted from Modern and from Standard. They're not gonna print Brainstorm into that format. And of course, if Ponder and Preordain were banned from Modern, and those cards are literally worse than Brainstorm, yeah, Brainstorm's not gonna be in modern. Maybe this balance, maybe brain fart could like or something similar. They make a balanced version of a card, designed for the opponent. Discard cards and then bring back stuff. That they didn't discard. But it's honestly just a different take on brainstorm. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's go into our number 5. And we got Metaphysics Riddler. So this is my take on a red Quantum Riddler. So 5 mana, 4 sits. Spins with flying, and when it enters, deals 3 damage to any target. And as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, this creature has haste, trample, and double trample damage. So I wanted to include, of course, double strike is a strictly better version of first strike, and they have made trample over planeswalkers a literal thing, where if you deal stats damage to a planeswalker, you could spread the damage to another planeswalker or battle or something. But the thing is, I just used but I decided to incorporate double trample in a sense. Double strike is like a better version of first strike, and triple strike, of course, a better version of double strike. But we haven't seen triple strike in an actual black border card yet. I mean, we only saw it in one silver border card, which is a Freehead Goblin. But some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, especially my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card, Blue Eyes Chaos Mass Dragon, have the ability to deal double piercing damage on defense position, which would translate to Magic to basically double trample. Now, double trample, I didn't really decide to right away create the double trample mechanic, but I wanna make splitting it, it has trample and it deals double trample damage to defending players. So if it's attacking 4, gets blocked by a creature of 2 toughness, it deals 2 damage, and then the excess damage gets doubled. So from 2 becomes 4. That's basically the concept. From if it gets blocked by 3 toughness, 1 becomes 2, and then. But of course, if it gets blocked by 1 toughness, then 3 becomes 6. If it gets blocked, then basically, but nothing is blocking it. A 0 toughness is blocking it, or the creature gets killed before the block. Boom, that's 8 damage. But if not, it's just 4 damage. Natural 4 damage. But that's basically my concept on this, and of course has warp for 1 and a red. So essentially being a sorcery speed lightning strike that you can later on cast, as this creature. And it does have its fervent effect, it's more like Hazoret. It does have, effects similar to Quantum Riddler, but it's but it goes with, but it's more aggressive. Instead of drawing your cards, it just deals more damage. Yeah, and of course, if you just play this when you have and you have if you warp this, if for some reason early in the game you only have 1 or 0 cards in hand, you just warp this and you deal 7 damage on turn 2. But yeah, that's practically impossible. So yeah, but that's basically my take on a red Quantum Riddler. Thinking Metaphysics Riddler, because it's another form of physics, quantum physics, metaphysics. I mean, what other physics could you just put for this? But yeah, let's just go in to our number 4, and we got Eldritch De-Evolution. Yeah, a 3-mana sorcery that lets you destroy a target creature you don't control. But you search their library for a creature with MV X or greater, where X is the destroyed creature's mana value -2. If you find a card this way, put it onto the battlefield under your control. Then that player shuffles. If you don't put a creature card onto the battlefield this way, you lose the game. So Of course, this is meant to avoid, fail to find. To not make this a generic free mana removal. So to balance this card, we have to make it so it reverses, Eldritch Evolution. So, you know, they like the floor would be basically two less than the creature. So if you kill a creature with converted mana cost free, then you can search for one or greater. I mean, you can even you can bring one that's greater, of course, in mana value. You know, so you don't bring one that's like what 0 mana. You don't kill a 7 mana creature and then bring a 0 mana creature or 1 mana creature from it. You kill a 7 mana creature and then you bring in a 5 mana creature or even greater. You know, it's meant to be a removal. And if you fail to find something to replace that creature, then you're lost. So this is it's one of these because blue doesn't have much destruction removal except for Pongify and well honestly, this card could be much cheaper in mana value, but it is my honest take on a reversed Eldritch Evolution. Maybe they could have they could make it for a different card type, but Eldritch the evolution makes logical sense for the card. Now, let's go in to our number 3, and we got Davrio, Life Broker. So I decided to use this based on the arena Davrio Soul Broker. So a black one, and it changes to green. So 4 mana, 4 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Davrio. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't put the type lines, but whatever. For +1 lets you create a 1/1 Sapperling. -2 lets you search for 2 basic lands, put one into the hand and the other onto the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle. And for -5, until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vision's Trample. And well, I even gave him a new quote for the flavor test because well, why not? And also, it is a way to reincorporate Davrio into the lore, because Davrio kind of just vanished ever since Warp Spark. The only thing we know about Davrio is what happened in Warp Spark and in Children of the Nameless, which I gotta tell you, Children of the Nameless is one of the worst books I've ever read. Like honestly, Invasion was better. It's Children of the Nameless was probably meh. I give it a 4 out of 10 in terms of writing. I mean, Brothers War, Invasion, War Spark, those were amazing. But I mean, I haven't read Forsaken yet, but I do plan on reading it sometime soon. And there are some other. But yeah, Children of the Nameless. I don't know, man. It's I do get it. They're trying to give Davrio a bit of backstory because they introduced 4 new planeswalkers in War Spark. They introduced the Wanderer, Kasmina, Davrio, and Teo. Yeah, and Teo is supposed to be a rookie planeswalker. I don't know what even happened to him. Bro. Kasmina, yeah, well, Kasmina did become a professor at Strixhaven, so that's something. And Wanderer is the Emperor of Kamigawa, yeah. But speaking of the Wanderer, here's my take on a mono black Wanderer, the Wandering Assassin, 5 mana, 3/4, legendary human samurai assassin with haste, improvise, and trample. This creature deals double trample damage to the defending player, and your other untapped creatures you can gain hexproof. So replacing Flash of Haste and Convoke with improvise, this is literally so flipping keyword abilities to the mats. So turning the planeswalker from a white planeswalker to a black planeswalker, and taking lead from Stinkcaster Mage to give it haste instead of flash. And instead of giving, tap creatures hexproof, gives untapped creatures hexproof, because you're not gonna use the improvise you're not gonna convoke her. You're gonna improvise her, with artifacts instead of creatures. Good way to bring back the improvise mechanic. And and instead of double strike, double trample. Cause why freaking not? Yeah. Honestly, I like the new. I like. I think double trample should be an actual mechanic. Like this should remain like a permanent feature. Like similar to double strike, we should have double trample. And I don't know if double lifelink would work, but double trample would probably be like the most logical keywords to double. Like, like, because super haste doesn't make sense. I mean, super menace could be like an actual keyword. Just saying. But double trample, yeah, why not? But, well, that's basically the number 2. Now let's go to the number 1. An interesting take on a familiar card. Instead of gifts ungiven, we have favors unreturned. A 4-mana instant that cannot be cast from anywhere but your hand to prevent flashbacks and escaping, with past in flames or past in floods or or underworld breach or whatever. So that's basically my the reason why I decided to because this is because gifts ungiven is usually run with storm decks, and storm decks are now using wish. You got wishes, literally card wish that lets you play a card from outside the game or exile, and so this time we decided to make a tutor that instead of searching your library, you search 4 cards from exile and the sideboard, and you review them. Different names, of course, to follow route from gifts ungiven. An opponent chooses 2 of them. Put the chosen cards in your graveyard, then the others in the hand. Of course, if you search for less than 4, then yeah, those will go to the graveyard. Yeah, that's basically the idea behind a red gifts ungiven. And of course, since Jace is freaking god of the multiverse, I from what I've seen, he might be like 4 or 5 color planeswalker. Like I don't know if he's gonna have green, but his commander deck is like 4 colors. Like that, I literally saw that. Like, so I do see this possible. Like I do see Jace being able to use like red mana like that. I mean, bro, like I don't know if he's. I mean, he did become omniscient, but I don't know if he becomes omnipotent. So yeah, it's just like the lore is just going crazy places. Like even crazier than freaking Marvel. Like Storm literally travels through fiction now. Like not just Marvel or DC. She freaking pops up in Jujutsu Kaisen. So of course Magic will have to of course Magic having already had much better power scaling than Marvel and DC, but now it's gonna be much more visible. Like no more downplaying. This is literally what it is gonna be. But let's just start with our combo of the week. And we got Basking Broodskill plus Donatello the Brains. So Donatello that makes it so every time you create tokens, you also get a mutagen. Basking Broodskill makes it so every time it gets +1 token counter, you create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn. So you create spawn, and then that creates a mutagen. Sacrifice the spawn to use the mutagen to put a +1 counter on Basking Broodskill. This triggers Basking Broodskill, giving you a mutagen and a spawn. So that's another Basking Broodskill combo that uses no artifacts and no enchantments. Wow. That's actually even crazier. But, well, sadly, it won't be, sadly, it won't be, modern legal or pauper legal, but it will be, command for commander. Because, Donatello has partner character select. So if you select, a green partner character select commander, like Michelangelo or Leonardo, then yeah, you could this is an easy combo to assemble because one of them is already the commander. So yeah, that's basically the combo. But instead of the non-bo, we're gonna discuss a potential, like, not sure if they're gonna make a brand new plane or just like, because Haven, I don't know if Haven is gonna be in a different plane completely, or parallel universe version of Arcavios, or if it's inside Arcavios. And Haven is basically like the reverse version of Strixhaven. So you got Fate Hold instead of Lore Hold, Fearitz instead of Quandrits, Stinger Quill instead of Silver Quill, Constrari instead of Prismari, and Vigor Bloom instead of Wither Bloom. But I have an idea. I think we're gonna have what was it called? Oh, uh, uh a parallel version of Capenna. It's a new Capenna, old Factenna. So, for example, the Riveteers, I think instead of being Jund, it's gonna be Sultai, called the Lake Tears. I don't know. Instead of the Cabaretti, we got the Truckaretti or something. I don't know. Instead of being Naya, it's gonna be Timur. Uh, so what else? It was so what was this? So alright, it was so and so what were the types? So alright, let's see. Alright. So what else is there? Wait, what? Hold on. I don't know. New Capenna. Okay, fine. Let's see new. Alright, because I already got the. I forgot the name of it. Like, it's been like almost 4 years? No, more than 4 years. So, Obscura. Okay, Obscura, instead of being Esper, it's gonna be Jeskai. And it's gonna be called the uh the Luminosa. I don't know. Maestros would be so that's Grixis. Maybe make that Mardu and call it the Legendarios. The Reptiers, well, that would be the Lake Tears, and that's gonna be Sultai. The Cabaretti, that's the Truckaretti. That would be instead of Naya, that would be Timur, and then the Brokers. Uh, you know, that's that would be banned. You change it to the Fitzers, and then you get the one that's not the last one. That would be Abzan. All right, that's basically how a parallel universe Capenna would work. Possibly called Factenna. I don't know. But anyways, congratulations! You have reached the end of the podcast. So why don't you like and subscribe and follow the Android Share Friends? Stay tuned to the video streams and podcasts. Podcasts will be live every Tuesday 4:30 GMT, so stay tuned to them. Watch my other videos too. And yeah, I mean tomorrow no stream because I'm gonna be playing an event at my local game store, but Thursday I will be doing another stream, and possibly Friday as well. Saturday I'll actually be doing an in-store event stream for the store championships, so please don't miss it out. I made a brand new setup. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.